The purpose of the revised Self-4 test is to develop a more comprehensive, flexible, multi-perspective assessment process that responds to educational mandates for determining eligibility for language services, identifying language strengths and weaknesses, and providing performance-based, authentic assessment with a strong relationship to educational objectives and the curriculum. The examiner's manual contains all the administration directions for all the subtests, guidelines for scoring all the subtests, directions for scoring and interpreting test performance, a detailed description of the test purpose and design, and development and technical information. The two stimulus books are spiral-bound books that turn into easels during the evaluation. They include tab dividers that section out concepts and following directions, word structure, formulated sentences, word classes 1, sentence structure, expressive vocabulary, sentence assembly, semantic relationships, and rapid automatic naming. The back of each tab divider page presents the general information you need to administer the subtest. During the evaluation, the visual stimulus faces the student, and the information you need to introduce the test items is on the page facing the administrator. The tabbed pages are color-coded to match the subtests in the record forms. The record forms contain demonstration items, trial items, test items, and space for recording responses. The test results scoring information is recorded on pages 1 and 2 of each record form. Record Form 1 includes all the subtests for clients 5 through 8 years old, and Record Form 2 includes all the subtests for clients 9 through 21 years old. The subtests that don't require a stimulus book for administration are color-coded teal for ages 5 through 8 on the record form, and purple for ages 9 through 21 on the record form 2. These subtests include recalling sentences, word classes 2, expressive vocabulary, word definitions, understanding spoken paragraphs, phonological awareness, number repetition, familiar sequencing, and pragmatic profile. The observation rating scale form is formatted as one sheet printed on both sides and bound on a tear-off pad. The administrator and the student, about 12 years or older, are required to complete a form. The parent, the teacher, and the student ratings are compiled in the shaded columns on the administrator's form. Jane Doe is a 7-year and 6-month-old female. She attends 2nd grade in XX Elementary School. 1 month prior to this evaluation, Jane Doe was involved in a car accident where she was hit by a slow-moving vehicle while riding a bike with her helmet on. The helmet prevented serious damage, but Jane still suffered from a closed TBI. About 2 weeks after the accident in the rehabilitation center, Jane's OT and PT noticed that Jane had trouble following directions, getting her point across, maintaining conversational topics, and finding appropriate words. Jane was then referred by a neurologist in the rehab center for a language evaluation. Jane's birth and gestation was normal and unremarkable. At home, she lives with her mother, father, and 2 older sisters. English is Jane's native language and the only language spoken at home. Jane is currently taking pain medication, YY, which may result in slight lethargy and limited attention span. The student's general language abilities can be evaluated, and through the 4 subtests and core language score, it can be decided whether a language disorder is present or not. Once it is determined that the student has a language disorder, the nature of the disorder, the underlying clinical behaviors, and how the disorder affects the student's classroom performance can be evaluated through the Self-4 subtests. This test demonstration is specific to Jane's chronological age, 7 years 6 months. When administering the Self-4 to older clients, different subtests must be used. The subtests demonstrated are utilized to obtain a core language score, which indicate whether or not a client has a language disorder. To understand the nature of the disorder, the underlying clinical behaviors, and how the disorder affects the student's classroom performance, other subtests must be administered. Concepts and following directions. This subtest is used to evaluate a student's ability to follow explicit directions of increasing length and difficulty. The child must also be able to identify a prompt item from a variety of choices.
Okay, Jane, so I'm going to show you some pictures, and I'm going to ask you to point to the pictures that I name. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, point to the car. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to show you some more pictures. This time I'm going to say go when I want you to point. Remember to point to the pictures in the order that I name them, and do not point until I say go. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, point to the black shoe and the white fish. Go. Good job. Now let's try some more. Remember to point to the pictures in the order that I name them, and do not point until I say go. Point to the little car and the big black apple. Go. Okay. Point to the shoes that are circled. Go. Point to the house in the top row. Go. Point to the fish next to a house. Go. Point to the apple farthest from the ball. Go. After you point to the shoe, point to the fish. Go.
Concepts and following directions. For each item, circle 1 if the student's response is correct, or 0 if the response is incorrect. Compute the raw score for the subtest by adding the scores of the items administered, and 1 point for each unadministered item preceding the student's starting item. Word structure. This evaluates the ability of a child to use appropriate pronouns to refer to people, objects, and possessive relationships.
Now let's do some more. Remember, listen to what I say about the picture and help me finish what I say about each one, okay?
Okay.
Here is one book. Here are two
Books.
Here is one horse. Here are two
Horsies.
Here is one mouse. Here are two
Mice.
Here is one child. Here are three
Children.
This girl likes to swim. Each day she swims. This boy likes to read. Every day he
Reads.
Here the bird eats. Here the bird
Flies.
This is Jack. Whose dog is this? It's Jack's dog. This is Kim, and this is Paula. This is Kim's mitten, and this is Paula's
Boot.
This is a king. Whose crown is this? It is the
King's.
This man teaches. He is called a teacher. This man sings. He is called a
Singer.
Word structure. For each item, score 1 if the student's response is correct, or 0 if the response is incorrect. If the student gives a response that is different from the target response but demonstrates the targeted structure and is meaningful to the context of the item, record and respond and give credit. Recalling sentences. This tests a student's ability to listen and repeat sentences verbatim.
The rabbit was not put in the cage by the girl.
The rabbit didn't go in the cage.
Didn't the boys eat the apples?
Did the boys eat the apples?
The big brown dog ate all of the cat's food.
The dog ate the cat's food.
Does anyone know who the new teacher is?
Do you know who the new teacher is?
The kindergartner cannot cross the street by himself.
The kindergartner couldn't cross the street.
Recalling sentences. Count the number of errors in the response and classify it according to the following rules. Okay, sentences repeated verbatim. 1-word error. A response with a single word changed, added, substituted, or omitted. 2 to 3-word errors. Any response with 2 or 3 words changed, added, substituted, omitted, or reversed or transposed. +4 errors. Any response with 4 or more changed, added, substituted, omitted, or revised, omissions or resequencing of phrases containing 4 or more words. Formulated sentences. This is used to assess a school-aged child's ability to formulate grammatically appropriate sentences of increasing length and difficulty. The child is provided a target word and an illustration. The student must use the illustration to create a sentence with the specified word.
Here is a picture of children in a library. I will use the word book in a sentence to talk about this picture. The girl is reading a book. Or I could say, that book is on the table. Now I want you to make a sentence with the word children. Remember to look at the picture to help you think of what to say.
The children are playing on the TV.
Good job. Now make a sentence with the word forgot. Remember to look at the picture to help you think of what to say.
The girl forgot her socks.
Now make a sentence with the word always. Remember to look at the picture to help you think of what to say.
The girl always uses this stuff you put on your brush.
Good job. Now make a sentence with the word car. Remember to look at the picture to help you think of what to say.
The kids walk to mom's car.
Now make a sentence with the word gave. Remember to look at the picture to help you think of what to say.
The mom gave the boy the food.
Good job.
Formulated sentences. Score each item by circling 2, 1, or 0 in the score column. To receive a score of 2, a complete sentence that is semantically and syntactically correct and uses correct structure. To receive a score of 1, a complete sentence that demonstrates correct structure and has only 1 or 2 deviations in syntax or semantics. Otherwise, client should receive a score of 0.